Hello, ladies and gentlemen, my name's Stepsbasic, and welcome back to my community show. I don't know why that's so fun. Used to annoy me, but now it doesn't. But anyway, first things first. I mentioned it in one of my videos recently, yes. I lost my beard. It was an accident. I went to shave my mustache, or trim it up anyway, because I was eating and I shoved it in my mouth and bit down on it and it hurt. And I'm like, golly. Ugh. So I was like, I'm going to trim it up a little bit, and it was just, oh. So I could have just gone with the whole patch there, but in the end I decided, you know what, I'll just level it out and then grow it back, and it will be back, and it will be great, as always. But anyway, that's not the topic of today's video. Today's video's topic is role-playing in games. Yes, weird, isn't it? I'm not talking about role-playing games this time. I'm talking about role-playing in games. Because, you see, if you're like me, and you play a game, and you beat the game, going back through and playing the game again has lost some of its magic. I mean, there's some, like, they call it replay value to some of the games that I play, but for the most part, if I played it, I know the story, it loses a lot for me. So I don't replay games a lot, unless there's little to no story, or I just want to see some parts again. It's not like watching a movie where you can sit down and watch a movie for an hour and a half to 2 hours and you got your story back. Or reading a book, it's much more involved. So when it comes to me, when it comes to playing a game again, it's really hard for me to replay it. So, what do I do to remedy this? Well, I role play. Yes, weird, I know. But this is actually the sort of thing that gave rise to my episodes of Tim and future episodes that will be coming from Biography of a Man. And I have some more in plan. Yes. Yes. But, like, I would take, let's use my favorite game, for example, Final Fantasy VII. Final Fantasy VII allows you to rename characters. Every time you recruit a new character, you can rename them to whatever you want. And they allow you to essentially create whatever class you want for that character. I.e., your character can be fully command materia, your character can be fully magic, fully summon materia. And I took advantage of that. See, I love Final Fantasy so much, and I could replay that story so many times. Mostly because it's really quick to get through it after you know what you're doing. Like I was mentioning while I was playing it, that sometimes when I first played it, I'd be lost for hours, days, weeks, not knowing where to go, because nobody would tell you, except for like one person in the entire world, and you had to find that person. And sometimes they would give you hints like where to go, and other times you just be on your own. So I was able to replay Final Fantasy VII a few times. But even that game kind of wore on me a bit. I know the story, I know what's going to happen, I can prepare for it, and it doesn't affect me as emotionally as it usually used to. So what I would do is funny enough, one of my first stories that I ever wrote, which has kind of evolved into the story I'm trying to get published right now, was about a group of people who had special magical powers. And the main character had the ability to control fire, i.e. Cloud was named after that main character and was always equipped with fire magic, including Ifrit, Fire, Comet, various different spells that would, that were just fire-based. And I role-played that story in Final Fantasy VII. Now, in some games, it's a lot easier to do. Like back in the day, we had a lot of games that didn't have much story involved in them. They did have like the story elements, but for the most part, you were just thrown into the world and told, "Go do this," and you didn't know much about the story. Zelda was a good example of that back in the day. Dragon Warrior was another one. You jump into the game, you don't know what you're doing, you don't know who you are, you don't know where you're going. Original Final Fantasy, that was one I role-played it a lot. I would even have conversations between the characters while I was playing it. And I always found that made it a lot easier. Now today's games are more, they're a lot more story based, so it's a lot more difficult. I actually got complimented on my Tim episode because I was able to kind of just brush over and work in the intro to the story, into my story, without the family, without, you know, his wife getting killed, because Tim wasn't married, Tim didn't have kids, Tim didn't have a very good house, he didn't have a very good life. So it was different for him, it was different for Tim. And I was able to work my way around this story. Things like before Fallout 4, Skyrim is pretty good about that. Skyrim has basically a blank slate character, no voice actor, nothing special about him, except of course that he's the Dragonborn and everyone expects everything from him. But that made that game a lot easier to roleplay in, because I could make my character who I wanted. And that was so much fun. And this is something I tell people to do if they're bored playing a game. I tell them, pick up the game and pretend the main character is not who they're supposed to be. And that sort of helps to break the monotony of repetitively playing a game, especially when you hit dry seasons when nothing good is coming out and you don't know what to play next, so you just need to kill some time while you plan it out. And you just jump into like Skyrim, and your character, the Dragonborn, is not the Dragonborn. He's Joe Schmo, a merchant who happened to find a sword and have to defend himself. Funny enough, I was planning out my next biography. Man, I'm not going to reveal much of it to you yet, mostly because I don't have much of it planned out yet. But I'm not going to reveal much to it. But it's going to take place in Skyrim, and I wanted to do a little bit more research into stuff and see how I could get set up. So I started watching other people's Skyrim's video, and I found friggin' Beta Pixel, Pixel Pit, Robin Trokar, Jacksepticeye's editor, his gaming channel. He has been playing Skyrim sort of the way I'm playing Tim. He's less involved, he doesn't have a narrator, he doesn't do that whole stuff, but he role plays like he is in the character, like he is Voldemort. Awesome name. And I was looking at that and I'm like, this is kind of cool. He actually does this sort of thing. And I found out that there's a mod in the game that actually allows you to choose your starting point, so you're not the Dragonborn, so to speak. You don't start in Helgen. I'm like, that's nice. I hope they have that on the PS4. But even if they don't, I'm probably going to just do like what I did with Tim and just kind of blank slate the whole beginning and just start from like Helgen, or not Helgen, but Riftwood and stuff like that. But I'm really excited to get into that, and that's something, like I told you, I tell other people to do this. You guys should get in there and try this. Try role playing a different character in the main character. Try role playing a different story in the story. Now, like I said, some games it's difficult. Other games it's really simple. Like Call of Duty, very story based. I'm talking about the single player mission, of course. Very story based. If you try to role play in that, you're going to end up getting interrupted every 5 seconds while somebody says, "Hey, we gotta go over there and do this." And you're like, "Oh, for Christ's sake, I'm trying to be weird, jerks." But whereas other games like Skyrim, like I said, is really easy to do that in. But either way, you know, this is something I always recommend. You should try it. It not only does it help to make the game a little more enjoyable, especially really badly written games, games with really bad stories, it makes it much more enjoyable, but also it helps, and I know I'm an artist, so it kind of is more important to me than to your average Joe who doesn't really dabble in art at all, but it helps your imagination. It helps you learn story structure. It helps you to learn different artistic skills that are involved in writing and story making. And geek in me, I know. That's I like to learn things, but that's a good way to learn how to make stories. basically just jump in, you got your character, and let the story write itself as you play through it. But anyway, that's all I've really got for you today. Hope you guys enjoyed this, and if you did, please go ahead and poke that like button for me. If you'd like to, leave some comments down below. What sort of RP in games have you done? If you do them at all. Or what are some good ideas that you could do in a role-playing situation like that? Also, additionally, what sort of games make good for role-play? I hear Dark Souls is actually pretty good for that, because you have another blank slate character. But like I said, never played it before. I'm going to get into it pretty soon. But anyway, that's all I got. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will get back to you as soon as I can, when I can, if I can. You know all that jazz. And tune in next time for, I don't know, something. I'll talk about things. I'm good at talking about things. But anyway, until then, good night.